Hello and welcome to the all-important box draws for the three Group 1s at the Meadows this Saturday night, being the Australian Cup, the Rookie Rebel, and of course the Fanta Bale. It's a culmination of what's been a great couple of weeks. My name's Jason Adams and I'm joined by Corey Smith, the main face and voice of the Meadows, and it culminates this week, Smith. I don't think anyone could be complaining with the quality of racing of what we've seen over the past few weeks.
It was billed as iconic. We threw that out in a marketing meeting a few months ago, and it's lived up to that billing. It's been a fantastic series so far, and three great Group 1s this Saturday night, and hopefully we have plenty of people on course enjoying it. Good atmosphere, good weather, fingers crossed, and hopefully we get even better racing.
Okay, so we're going to do these draws in a distance order with the Australian Cup first, then into the Rookie Rebel, then into the Fanta Bale. Before we get stuck into the draw itself, let's quickly recap what we saw on Saturday night. And this was the semi-final win of Cleo Star, who, of course, was the equal fastest with Dramatical. And she just got it all right, didn't she? I mean, this was one of the strongest of the semi-finals. Mapunga Reward in box 7 there is the one that qualifies. Just got his nose down at the right time for the second week running, but this is certainly a taste of what we can expect in the final, particularly given the combination of speed and strength.
Yeah, we sensed a little bit of confidence from Brendan Purcell in his interviews pre and post race, and this is a dog that has early speed, and that's the sort of dog that you want going into these finals, because while you see Mapunga Reward is an absolute superstar, Patch, he's going to need some luck, whereas Cleo Star takes that out of the equation.
100%. All right, the random order we'll touch on first. Smithy, read through that for us before we get the process underway.
Yeah, so for those that don't know how a banjo box draw works, we've got the plastic instrument, I suppose we'll call it. It is the banjo, of course. And on one side there are the numbers. The numbers is the reorder that we do pre-box draw. And then the colours are the boxes that those dogs will jump out of. So here's the redraw, not the boxes they'll jump out of, just the redraw. 1 Slick Splits, 2 Poor Oswald, 3 Dramatical, 4 Mapunga Reward, 5 Cleo Star, 6 Maverico, 7 Consigliere, 8 Irish Bill, and of course the reserves are Dashing Slay and Neo Devere. But that's the reorder. Now let's get this banjo shaken up. We'll get this process underway because it is all important, Patrick.
Yep, joined by Paul Searle and also Scott Sutton from the stewarding team. Let's get it underway, boys.
There's nothing too fancy about it, Patch, but it does the job and it works.
Tell you what, I've thought about reinventing this over the years, and every other option just seems more complicated than this.
All right.
6 Slick Splits from...
So Slick Splits, box number 5. So a similar draw to what he's been facing recently.
Cleo Star, 2.
Cleo Star, the replay we just saw, Patch, with early speed goes into box number 2. Another similar draw to that from last week.
Maverico, 7.
Maverico, 7. So that's probably the first draw that the connections won't be thrilled with, but he's got that mid-race pace.
Irish Bill, 4.
Irish Bill, box number 4. Definitely known for his strength.
Mapunga Reward, 8.
Mapunga Reward, 8.
Suited.
Maybe Maverico carves him a path.
Dramatical, 1.
Wow. Dramatical goes into box number 1, and that is an ideal draw for the dog on the up.
Poor Oswald, 6.
Poor Oswald gets box number 6, so there's going to be some speed out wide in 6 and 7.
Consigliere, 3.
Consigliere goes into box number 3, another dog on the rise for the Thompson Kennel. And that is an intriguing box draw, Patch. And we see it on screen there. 1 Dramatical, 2 Cleo Star, 3 Consigliere, 4 Irish Bill, 5 Slick Splits, 6 Poor Oswald, 7 Maverico, and 8 Mapunga Reward. So that is an intriguing draw, to say the least. There's plenty of speed in 5, 6, and 7. 4 and 8 are both slow out. A little bit of speed in 2 and 3, and then Dramatical. Where does he lob in the run? Can he run over the top of them?
Well, you'd have to say that despite him being the slowest beginner in the race, Dramatical is probably going to open up favourite, isn't he, given the desperation of which he has for the rail?
Absolutely. I think that's created more questions than answers, personally.
For who?
For the whole field. Can the speed get across from the outside? Is the speed on the inside going to hold up? Can these strong dogs in Dramatical, Irish Bill, Mapunga Reward, can they hold up? I'm excited.
It's going to be a cracker. Obviously, such deep history with this race, and another one of these superstars will join the honour roll this Saturday night. All right, it's time to move on to the Group 1 Rookie Rebel, where, of course, this field was announced this morning, which has created plenty of debate, Smithy. We see there from the top, Ascend Geranium, Dacey's Rory, Echoes of Dad, which we'll speak more about shortly, His Magic, Miss Envy, Poor Petrov, Valenzuela, and Vista Weird. And we can both already tell that there's been some pretty hot discussion off the back of this field announcement. So I guess from your point of view and the calls you have fielded this morning, what have been the contentious decisions here when we look at this field?
I think there's probably two main contentious points that we've heard feedback from already. One of those is Dacey's Rory, who's never started over 600 metres. He's a dog that has got a fantastic resume over the 500-metre journey, and he's certainly got the ability to feature in a race like this. But having not been over 600 metres before, there'll be plenty of people out there that think maybe he shouldn't be selected in a race like this, and I can understand that point of view as well. But when we changed the conditions for the Australian Cup a few years ago and turned it into a 3-week series, there was an opportunity for dogs like Dacey's Rory. It was probably more a wow, she's fast sort of standard of dog that we thought, let's give the opportunity, if they're bundled out of Australian Cup, to have a crack at the 600-metre Rookie Rebel if it suits, if it fits. And when you have the likes of Accredited, who's the Hume Cup winner, Kako Magic, who is the track record holder, you've got track record holders all over the country over 600 metres that aren't here. It probably opens up the opportunity for a dog like Dacey's Rory to get into this field. And I know it's a contentious one. I know there'll be plenty of people that are grumpy with us, angry with us, whatever adjectives you want to use. But we think we've made the right call, and I think he adds something to the race.
Yep. All right. So, again, this is live. So for anyone who wants to comment on what's happening today, have your say and your point of view, you can do so. I can see Matty Field has done on YouTube. We might keep that one to the side. But if you do want to get involved, make sure you do. Now, another greyhound that has been on the agenda of some people this morning, Smithy, has been Echoes of Dad. So, look, he was one that was hopeful of being a part of that Rookie Rebel period on Saturday night. It didn't play out that way for him. Instead, he ended up in a field that was clearly not as challenging as what he would have met in the prelude. However, he's taken that opportunity with both paws and set a super quick time. However, I guess the argument against him being in the field is the depth of this sort of form. Personally, I feel like a dog going this quick a week before the race can't be left out of the field, but it's not the point of view that some people share.
Well, we put a Rookie Rebel prelude on so dogs can showcase their ability, and this dog nominated for that. He didn't get a run in that. Thankfully, the grade has put on another 600-metre race, and he was able to show his wares. When you run the 15th fastest time of all time, the weekend before and a day or two before we actually select the fields, I think you can't put yourself in better nick. You can't put yourself in better form. I think the connections over in South Australia did a fantastic job to bring him over the week before, then come here and have a crack over the 600, and they put the time on the board. I can understand why people get frustrated at dogs that come from interstate that probably are perceived to not be facing the same sort of competition that they do in Victoria. But you can't argue with the clock. That was a red hot time and 10 lengths quicker than the prelude went.
Yeah, indeed. But a comment here from Ryan Vanderberg, who always gets in these streams. Whereabouts is Accredited and Kako Magic?
Unfortunately, both injured. Spoke to connections leading up to the close of nominations, and they're both out for a little while. So hopefully we'll see them back on track very shortly, but no doubt about it. We'd love to see the reigning Hume Cup champ and the track record holder in this race if they were available.
All right, let's get to it. So obviously the biggest name in this race is Miss Envy, and it's going to be vital as to where she draws. So, boys,
I'll get the reorder through first.
Sorry, let's do that first.
So Poor Petrov 1. Again, this is not what they're jumping from. This is the reorder. They would be jumping from the colours that correspond with the numbers. Poor Petrov 1, 2 Echoes of Dad, 3 Dacey's Rory, 4 Valenzuela, 5 Ascend Geranium, 6 Miss Envy, 7 Vista Weird, and 8 His Magic. Poor Vortex, Nigel DeVere round out the reserves. But let's get this banjo shaken up because Xtra, I'm a broken record patch. Vortex on. Alrighty. So that'll be Poor Petrov goes into box number 5. The prelude winner.
Vista Weird 3.
Vista Weird goes into box number 3. We haven't seen him over 600 for a while, but he's screaming out for the trip looking at his replays.
Valenzuela 4.
Valenzuela goes into box number 4.
Miss Envy 2.
Miss Envy gets a good draw in a big final. Box number 2.
Ascend Geranium 1.
Ascend Geranium, box number 1. He'll inject a little bit of speed if he can get it right.
Dacey's Rory 8.
Dacey's Rory gets box number 8. His record of box draws in big races is abysmal at best.
Echoes of Dad, 6.
Echoes of Dad goes into box number 6 after setting that ridiculous time last week.
And He's Magic, box 7.
And He's Magic goes into box number 7. So I wouldn't say that's an ideal draw for him there, Patch. But Miss Envy looks like she's going to be the big winner out of that draw. Vista Weird's not super quick out. Valenzuela, she should probably beat him out. And then it's what Ascend Geranium does at the start. Sometimes he nails it, sometimes he misses it. So, yeah, that's the big takeaway for me is Miss Envy looks like a big winner from the box draw.
Oh, she'll start favourite. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We've had a comment come in from Sean Fullerton, and much to your point, Smithy, about Echoes of Dad. And he has said, SA dogs are so underrated and past group performances have proved they can match the best in the land. And of recent time, Mally Beauty, despite her doing it on her home deck in the Adelaide Cup, has been able to prove she can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's sometimes there's strong levels of greyhounds in any state at any given time. Sometimes it's a little bit weaker. When you see a dog come over and run that sort of time, you can show that they've got ability. The clock doesn't lie, and it raced on the same deck that plenty of other contenders for the Rookie Rebel raced on Saturday night. So I don't think you can argue with that point from Sean.
Yep, and Matty Field back in the action. Big chance, Miss Envy, to say the least, Matty. Don't worry about that. All right, let's move on to the next of our box draws, and that is for the Fanta Bale to be run at Group 1 level on Saturday night. We saw a couple of heats last Saturday, and we're going to take a look at this one, Smithy, which was won by Vodka and Ice in a race that, look, the biggest talking point out of this was probably the performance of Fade to Black, but let that take nothing away from the effort of Vodka and Ice. It was superb after a really good trial the week before.
Yeah, you got Mapunga Donna leading here and Texas President lobbed in second, and Fade to Black just didn't show that speed that he's been showing over the last probably couple of months really now, and then Vodka and Ice just settled fourth. This looks like a dog that I heard some people say he needs 800 metres, Vodka and Ice, but he gets there, he gets the job done here, and Mapunga Donna and Texas President, their dog's on the up. Fade to Black, I think he'll bounce back from this performance. I think if he gets a better draw, a kinder draw, he should put himself in the race, and as we just saw, Vodka and Ice, the box draw is probably not as dependent for him because he's going to be back sort of middle to the rear end of the field and running home late. So plenty of intrigue from that race, and I'd love to see Fade to Black bounce back to his best as well.
Yep, 100%. All right, let's get this one underway for the Group 1 Fanta Bale on Saturday night. Random draw again. I'll finally get this right. Unfortunately, we don't have another draw for me to get it right. So you take it away, Smithy.
Again, this is just the number of the reorder, not the box they're jumping from. The colour will be the box that they jump from. Mapunga Lara 1, Fade to Black 2, 3 Magpie Hector, 4 Texas President, 5 Mapunga Donna, 6 Aiden's Warrior, 7 Vodka and Ice, 8 Irish Millie, and Baffett and King Ron are the 2 reserves. So let's get this banjo shaken up for the final box draw of the Australian Cup Carnival in terms of the Group 1s anyway.
Named after one of the all-time greats, one of your favourite greyhounds of all time, Smithy, who did some excellent
favourite
stuff over all 3 distances, no matter where she went across the country.
So first one, Vodka and Ice, 3.
Vodka and Ice, box number 3. Should be able to just get to that rail.
Texas President, 1.
Texas President from box number 1. Probably inject a little bit of speed into that one.
Aiden's Warrior, 6.
Aiden's Warrior, I reckon he's got unparalleled mid-race pace in this. Just where does he lob to from
Probably
box 6?
on Saturday as well.
He was.
Magpie Hector, 8.
Magpie Hector 8. I'm expecting a message from Jack Smith saying, do it again, like he did after the Zoom top.
Mapunga Lara, 5.
Mapunga Lara, box number 5.
Mapunga Donna, 7.
Mapunga Donna gets box number 7. So a real mixed bag for the Jeff Britton train runners.
Fade to Black, 2.
Fade to Black gets a kind of draw. Box number 2 will be able to inject himself into the race early for sure.
Irish Millie, 4.
And Irish Millie, the old timer who just seems to make these finals for fun, Patch, goes into box number 4. So there it is. 1 Texas President, 2 Fade to Black, 3 Vodka and Ice, 4 Irish Millie, 5 Mapunga Lara, 6 Aiden's Warrior, 7 Mapunga Donna, and 8 Magpie Hector. For mine, Fade to Black's the big winner early with not a huge amount of speed drawn on his direct outside, except for those that are drawn nice and wide in, say, 6 and 7.
Yeah, well, I think the main chances in this are going to have it pretty tough, that being Magpie Hector, Mapunga Donna, and, of course, Mapunga Lara. It was great last week. She speared straight to the front. The big question is whether she can do that again. Then Aiden's Warriors found himself in a pretty tricky draw. So, look, Fade to Black probably going to fit into that pocket behind Texas President. He's probably got a shade more early speed than what he does. So, it's the big question is, can he bounce back from the performance of which he put together on Saturday night?
I think Fade to Black's the key to this race. He used a fair bit of the track from box number 8 last week. If he does that again, Texas President's going to have a heap of room. But maybe Fade to Black bounces back to his best and he's just too good for them. I love this race and I think it's going to be an absolute ripper. Obviously, we were disappointed, only 2 heats leading into it, but it's produced a fantastic final field, that's for sure.
Yep, so there we have it, the 3 Group 1s to be run and won this Saturday night at the Meadows. Get along on track. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And, of course, to support this program is a decent card as well. We've got the consolation of the Australian Cup. We've also got a pretty handy maiden final where we saw semis run on Saturday. And, look, we saw 2 kennel mates do some excellent things in these semi-finals. The first of them was Dustin. Here he is from box 1. And we know with greyhounds of this age and experience, Smithy, it's one thing to have ability, it's another to really serve it up and run to the pump, and that's what he did on Saturday.
I think you can learn more from a dog in the infancy of their career when they face a race like this. When they go straight to the front, they can run fast times. We know they can do that. But when you lob behind dogs and you have to be tough and you have to run it out and you have to be gritty, I think you can learn who the dog really is, and that is what he was there in that performance. So I think he's probably added another string to his bow. I know that sounds silly to say, given he's only had 2 starts, but we learnt more about him, and I think that was a real positive.
And the Messina's at it again with young dogs as well, as they always do.
Fantastic strike rate trainers, aren't they? They just place them to perfection, get them ready, and you just know whenever they're presented at the track as a punter, you know they're going to be ready to go.
Joshy Formosa's got involved with a tip for this maiden, not again for the maiden. There's your tip.
There we go.
He almost landed slick splits after a very bullish comment pre-race on Saturday night, which we absolutely love.
I think he had a bit of knee surgery yesterday, and
did he? He's probably due for some of that.
He was sitting there and he was eating a Scotch fillet while watching Sky One in the hospital bed. So
Joshy,
he's just living it up, our man.
Living life, my goodness. What about that consolation I spoke about? How's that put together?
So the consolation, preference is given to those dogs that were in the semi-final, and then the heat performers are allowed to be eligible this year, which is a first. So hopefully we get a good field. Last year, Smooth Plain won it. So if we can get a dog of his caliber going into it, we'd be nice and happy. But hopefully it's well supported and we can keep it around, because the consolation is always a nice thing to have, in my opinion.
Yep. We've seen some great events at the Meadows over the past couple of weeks as well. Of course, week 1 being the Australian themed barbecue, which is great. Kids night on Saturday night. Can't believe there was crocodiles there in attendance and snakes as well. But I know this weekend features a club shout. There's been some vision we've run on grey areas over the past couple of weeks. And I wonder, one day, Smithy, can we get more of this stuff? I've got Scott Ruchak, your boss, in the room. Can we get, don't worry about Disco Dave Carlson, can we get some mowers down the straight in some sort of race? Something to attract the fans and keep them interested throughout the card.
Well, we're always looking at ways to be innovative with box draws, and we've got the stewards here. Maybe we have to get all the participants to throw up a representative when we get a lawnmower race going, and then they get their first pick. That'd be a bit left of centre, I reckon.
That'd be good. You mentioned Jack Smith text you the other week saying, do it again. He's just commenting on Facebook, yous are all crooked. So he's filthy again with the box draw for Magpie Hector. But I tell you what, Jack, you've got a fair animal.
He's a freak, Magpie Hector.
Yeah.
What he did in that Zoom top was phenomenal. So he's a chance from any draw, that is for sure.
For sure. All right, thanks for tuning in. We look forward to the Meadows this Saturday night. Fields will be out. Is it tomorrow?
Yes.
Yep. Standard Wednesday afternoon. So we look forward to that. And, of course, on Saturday night, the coverage will again be back throughout the whole card in depth, whether you tune in on Sky Racing Active or on the Watchdog app. Myself, Michael Tyne, Nathan Rooney doing our finest work. So we look forward to that. In the meantime, have a good week and we'll see you on Saturday night.